as the discussion surrounding a Palestinian state continues. Here to speak with us about the political and diplomatic repercussions is former member of Israeli Knesset and author Dr. Einat Wilf. Einat, thank you so much for joining us today. Just to start, does the decision to recognize a Palestinian state practically mean anything?
It doesn't mean much. It generally is, especially bilaterally, a form of recognition. Internationally, it means a lot because then it gives Palestinians basically more tools to harass Israel and international bodies. Bilaterally, it generally does not mean much. It's really more symbolic. But precisely because it is symbolic, Israel should insist on the full symbolism. So, for example, if those countries recognize a state of Palestine, that means that according to their rules, Palestine meets all the conditions of a fully sovereign state. If that's the case, then those countries need to explain how is it that in that state of Palestine, which they claim to exists, and they just recognize, there exist more than 2 million people that they recognize as refugees from Palestine. So either these people are in Palestine or they are refugees from Palestine. Now, those people know which Palestine they're refugees from the river to the sea, from water to water. Palestine will be Arab. That's why they live in Gaza and Ramallah and claim to still be refugees from Palestine. But if Norway and Ireland and Spain believe that, it means that they foundationally, despite claiming that they're recognizing Palestine so that they can support two states, they're basically saying one of those two states is not the Jewish state. It essentially supports the Arab vision of two states that says West Bank and Gaza will be Arab Palestine, and Israel will also be Arab through this mechanism of refugee return.
Now, what are the consequences of Palestinian statehood for Israel? I mean, does this pose any kind of threat to Israel, legally speaking, or does it create an even greater security threat for Israel?
For Israel, it doesn't. Again, it's symbolic. There's no specific repercussions. But this is precisely why it's an opportunity for Israel to take the initiative. One of the things that this government in particular, but others as well, have done terribly badly is to challenge the Palestinians constantly on the fact that it is their refusal to accept a Jewish state with all the repercussions, meaning they are not refugees from Palestine, there's no such thing as a right of return into the sovereign territory of the state of Israel. They have only been ever the ones to refuse a Jewish state. But this Israeli government has failed to constantly challenge the Palestinians on that, essentially opening the path to numerous diplomatic failures, such as this one. But if the government would have said, by all means, go ahead and recognize the state of Palestine, just do so as part of the package. We want to know that you're consistent, because all these countries are basically saying, we are recognizing Palestine because we want to nudge the countries towards a two-state solution. That's their language. We want to push them to get them to that two-state solution. Well, the two-state solution, to remind everyone, is one Jewish, one Arab. One Jewish, one Arab. If that is the vision of a two-state solution, and again, for the last century, there has never been a moment when there was an Arab-Palestinian vision of peace based on two states when one of the states is Jewish. So if this is the vision of those countries, let them be clear about it. Say that they recognize Palestine. They're defunding UNRWA, which is the mechanism by which they basically continue to normalize the idea that Israel is a temporary aberration and that Palestinians are still refugees and one day they will be returned. Defund UNRWA, make it clear that your country will not accept that Arabs living in the West Bank and Gaza are refugees from Palestine, or that Jordanian citizens are refugees from Palestine, and make it clear, that's it, that you're doing it as a package. Then that would be of value. And I think that then we will find that Palestinians are not celebrating that recognition so much.
Absolutely. Dr. Einat Wilf, unfortunately, we are out of time, but thank you so much for your insights on this issue.